Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wednesday public episode, Red Pill Tamales, brought to you by Red Pill Blend. Cafecito, get you some. It's your boy Chingo Bling. We got Juan Perez in the building.
What's up?
We got Corpus Christi coming up, man. You ready for that?
Yeah.
I'm hyped, man. Get your tickets, bro. Corpus Christi, we got some surprises for y'all. So
Javi Luna's birthday.
Javi Luna's B-Day, pull up 361. We were there.
A bunch of y'all were complaining that we didn't go last time, so make sure y'all get y'all's tickets.
Yeah,
tell a friend, share it. Let's go.
We were there in February, but we're back by popular demand. I just got back from my DJ gig in Wichita, Kansas. As much as I love to DJ, this isn't like, oh, I'm getting old type of joke. Like a hacky, like, oh, when you're over 40, you start to feel like this. Bro, I got picked. They're like, hey, we're gonna pick you up at 11:30, so we can get you to the club and you could do your DJ set and appearance.
Yeah.
So I took a little nap before that so I can get ready, and I realized that normally by 11:30, I'm done with the comedy shows. Like I'm already in the room at that point. They're picking me up at that point, so it just. Like I drank half a Monster before because I'm like, I need energy. I gotta wake up.
That's where you fucked up.
That's one of the ways
that's
I
where you fucked up. It's not a Monster. You gotta take the C4, man.
Okay.
If I'm not there, you gotta. Hey, it's C4.
Y'all know Juan got his C4, but
all right, you fucked up with the Monsters. It's okay.
We're gonna get you to try some of this, big dog. Anyway, shout out to everybody in Wichita, Kansas. I realized that I need to go back and do a comedy show and be back in my hotel by 11. So it's an amazing city. It was a quick little trip, but it's good to be back, and as much as I love DJing, it's good to be back to doing some comedy, because me being in a nightclub super late, I'm not built for that no more. I'm not. And you know what? Shout out to my boy Orlando, Southwest Entertainment. They got it on lock out there. DJ Cadence killed it. DJ The General killed it.
I saw your story. You had the grill.
That's another thing.
What'd you do?
Man, bro, some of these are tags from my set. We got to remember all these things. Bro, I don't know if my teeth shifted.
Oh, shit.
But, like, this one right here, when I put it, I was like, okay, this is obviously the wrong angle. Maybe I'm just scooted. It's, like, not lining up with my teeth. And I was like, no, that's it. And I had to, like pop it in where it just felt like, you know how they say, like, beauty isn't pain-free, or what is it? Like drip hurts is what I'm trying to tell you. Like it was very uncomfortable.
Beauty hurts, yeah.
Beauty hurts, man. It was very uncomfortable, but I had to bust out the grill. It was a Halloween party. I went as Chingo Blingo. And man, bro, by the time I took it off, it was like a chick taking off her heels. I was like,
what would you have done?
I was like,
What would you have done if it chipped your tooth, bro? Like shit,
yeah,
can you imagine
or
you do that and
like,
it just chips off?
Or cut your gum or something. Anyway, RPT, man, let's get into this.
We're all old. It's like, what happens if you would have dislocated your?
Yeah, like what's your dental plan look like, bro? Lord have mercy. So Kansas. Speaking of Kansas, I just got back from Kansas.
Yeah.
So there's a new bill, and it passed.
Kansas has become the first state to pass a bill that defines woman as someone who is biologically born female. That's it. That's what a woman is. Which means that this will ban men who identify as transgender women from using single-sex areas designated for women. It's called the Women's Bill of Rights. It was approved by legislators 26-10 on Thursday. Only Republican support there. And the bill defines a female as someone, quote, whose biological reproductive system is developed to produce ova, while male refers to anyone whose reproductive system, quote, is developed to fertilize the ova of a female. This is a beautiful bill, because it doesn't just say don't trans the kids. It doesn't just say wait till 8 to introduce kids to transgenderism in schools. Once they turn 9, that's fine. It doesn't just say only minors can't. It bans transgender.
Yeah, I'm for this bill. Shit, I'm now we should look to move to Kansas.
Kansas
if
is
the other states do not follow suit.
Yeah, it's lit over there, man. Shout out to Kansas City, Southwest Kansas, Wichita, all that. So it went through, and they basically saying the new definition of female, or their definition of female, they're establishing is like, if you're born biologically female, you're a female.
Yeah.
So I don't care what you call yourself.
Yeah, none of that shit's gonna fly here is basically what they're putting their foot down. They're like, none of that shit's gonna fly here. And honestly, they're doing it on the basis of they're protecting biological women from having their spaces like taken over from non-biological females,
aka vatos.
Yeah, dude, that's the thing is like this whole movement took it by storm and they made a big noise about it and they really freaked out a lot of people. And the problem is like it happened so fast that we didn't take the time to actually consider, hey, women don't want this shit. A lot of like most of them don't want to speak up because they don't want to be ostracized, but for the most part, it's a male that hasn't gone through a transition that's taking hormones but is still like trying to like, you know, while their whole chemical imbalance is happening with all their little meds that they're on and stuff, and they're infringing on women's like places.
Well, let me ask you this though, Juan. Do they even have to be on hormone meds or estrogen or puberty blockers in order to have access to the women's spaces?
No, but I know that people are going to be commenting on this shit, and I'm talking directly to the ones that start with that little argument. But like, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't matter if you're on or off of this shit. You shouldn't be in women's spaces with women if you were born biologically a male.
What if they cut?
I said it.
What if they cut the chile? What if they already did the
I don't
chile
give a
surgery?
fuck. Like, it's still like, what are you doing? Like, what? You're afraid? What?
What if they already got the Franken coochie?
Okay, go. I mean, go to the restroom at home. I don't know.
Yeah.
Go to the family restroom and lock the door.
Yeah, there's a lot of options. You
Yeah.
ain't got to be the grown ass man all in the girls' restroom.
Yeah, and again, this is it was made for, I think, women's protection, and especially like in the sports spaces and stuff like that. It's like, and that's the other thing. And this is the argument. This is the argument that y'all can't beat. When, like, if you're saying there's multiple genders and all this other bullshit, then why do you have to chop anything off to be that gender? Because you know what the feminine qualities are. Mm-hmm. So that's the end of the argument. That's the end of your stupid argument. Like the whole stupid movement, like of this argument of like, oh, there's like 52 genders. It's like, at the end of the day, if you're still trying to be a woman, you're still going to have to lob something off, right? So then you're not a woman. Or you're going to have to get something put on to be a male. So we do have these definitions of base female and male genders. There's not multiple ones. So y'all can cut that bullshit.
Yeah. I remember back when, like, before the pandemic, before I really paid attention to how propaganda really works and how the media really is and stuff like that. Like, I remember when that argument, Obama was still in office, that's when even one of the mayors in Houston, bro, I think her name was Kathy Whitmire. I can't remember her name exactly, but she was a lesbian and Democrat.
I don't trust any Kathys. Kathy Griffin, I don't trust any Kathys. Fuck you, Kathy.
How about that? But there's a couple cool Kathys out there. Shout out to y'all.
I don't know.
So basically, bro, what I was gonna say is this. Now it's easy for me to say, well, duh, we know what it is, bro. They're trying to, like, really impede upon women's spaces, and, like, you know, it's all a big anti-science, you know, charade. There's pharmaceutical companies that are going to benefit. There's a whole industry, like the trans industrial complex, like insurance companies, pharmaceutical companies, hospitals, surgeons. They were ready to start chopping off and rearranging stuff. But, like, back when Obama was in office, I think when I first started dating Marisol, I clearly remember somehow maybe she was watching The View and we're, like, having breakfast, having coffee, and just getting ready to see what we're going to do with the day because we ain't had 2 little kids, you know what I'm saying? And they spew out the little talking points of statistics show that a trans person is likely to be harassed or abused or something, be a victim if they go into, let's say, into a male space just because they're biologically male. So they put that out there, and then they say, you know, they're more likely to be a victim, like almost like, hey, they don't hurt nobody. And then saying, like, basically giving the argument as to, like, y'all need to be more open-minded, basically saying y'all need to be more progressive. Y'all need to be down with neutral bathrooms or all gender or whatever. And now that I remember, the mayor of Houston, she was one of the people pushing that. But at the time when they're feeding you assigning you opinions and only putting out one side of the argument because it's the news, you sit there and you're just kind of like, well, honey, I mean, statistics show. I mean, you know, those poor people are going to get victimized if they walk into the...
That was the funniest thing is that their statistics show.
Yeah,
It's like, what statistics?
Yeah, what study?
This is on you, right?
Yeah.
So how is it statistically proven?
Yeah, what cases, what are y'all basing that on?
Yeah, are y'all talking about like the 70s? Like whenever they used to like beat up gay people? Like all of that's changed. So like how are you going to base it off of that? You're going to say that's the norm?
Still trying to like use victimization as a cudgel to be like, I'm going to get what I want and we're going to push this whole other agenda using this here as an excuse.
If you're new to RPT, just so you know, like, because I think all the people that follow you for the RPT already know this. But like basically what they'll do is they will take a study, like what the left likes to do, and I say left because that's this.
Well, yeah, I think both sides can
do
benefit
it
from lying off of statistics.
Right, but like for the most part, one deals in more facts than the other. And I'm just saying, like in those senses, they'll take the minority cases and they'll be like, look, what if this happens? It's like, okay, but out of the vast majority of like actual situations, how likely is that to really happen? And they'll blow it up and be like, no, this and this happens with this, and same thing with like the abortion thing, like, oh, this thing happens here, and then with the abortion, it's like, what happens if they get raped and all this stuff, and it's
Are you saying that
how many times does that happen? Like, how many times does that happen? Like out of the vast majority of people actually getting the abortions. Same thing here. How many transgenders are getting beat up in the restrooms for using a male restroom for transitioning? For wearing a dress? Was there that many? It's like that's not. How is that normal?
And in each individual case, it's like, well, what was that person doing when they got beat up? You know what I mean? Maybe they was acting a fool or doing too much, and somebody had put hands on them. But yeah, like that's an excellent point. There's a book called How to Lie with Statistics, and you can literally apply that to everything. Whether it's like climate change, it's like we're all gonna die in 10 years because the humans are digging up oil and we have a civilization and we're selfish and we're hurting Mother Earth and she just wants to provide this beautiful environment for us, but we keep messing her up with all of our industry and civilization. And it's like, actually, Mother Earth don't give a damn about you. She ready to swallow you up. There's the weather, there's all kinds of stuff that thankfully we have fossil fuels to be able to tame this thing and we could thrive up in it. Yeah. But they'll use statistics to twist up everything. Like for example, there's new information now, Juan, and there's 89 genders. And it's like, what new information? You're anti-science. Be quiet. You're like, what new studies show that there's 89 genders? Well, gender's a social construct, and yada, 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 yada. I was thinking to myself, bro, how at my college, they had this professor. You ever take a sociology class?
No, I don't think
Okay, well, y'all got to be careful with them sociology departments because a lot of times, bro, like, it's almost like that's where you get a lot of radical extreme type of ideas where they'll push Karl Marx on you, and they were recruiting me to try to switch my major to sociology. Like the professor was like, come to my office, like after class, like you really get it, like you understand, almost like you're oppressed. You need to learn how to think like a victim. Like you get it. It's like, yeah, I went to public school. Like all this stuff has been put in me. Like they don't care about us because we're Mexican and all those things. So I remember that professor being like, man, you'd be really good over here at sociology. And I'm like, what kind of job can I get with that? They're like, I don't know. And I did a research. It's like, they just end up becoming social workers for the most part. But they basically will be like, communism, that's where everyone's equal and happy. Capitalism, that's where you're oppressed and there's greed and all this stuff. And moving on, and it's like, oh, damn, you just gonna move on?
I mean, it's not a coincidence that colleges before this whole movement started used to actually mean that you were going to network and also get an education and network enough so that when you left the college, you were going to have those networks and you were going to have, because those would be the same like-minded people that were going to be in your field that you could actually piggyback off of and then also use them in the future to like really make something happen in the world. And then you would have like opportunity for jobs and stuff to where it's like you could make a change in the world. But then it started to just dilute based on like certain classes and different things, where all of a sudden it became like, I'm discovering who I am. And then it became this whole stupid movement about parties and all this other shit that doesn't mean anything. And by the time you graduate, all you have is this debt now, and you never even learn anything. Like
you just passing the test and
so now you have these worthless workers that are coming in, and it's like trying to change like the identity of the workspace they're going into. It's like, shut up! Like
we're here to make profit,
right? Yeah, we're trying to do something to like really like the business owner already has their business mind of like, we're going to make profits. We're going to change this. This product is to provide a service for the people that we're serving. And you're coming in like, well, we got to do this other thing so that we could fit in with it. And those business people do not give a fuck. And look at Bud Light. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, they gave a bunch of money to Dana White.
Yeah. So like, what I'm saying is like, it used to mean something, now it doesn't. It is no coincidence that these classes became like mainstream in the college spaces, and now you have none of that. And so that whole space has been just destroyed. Now if you're smart, you'd actually start looking up what to do with your kids, as far as like, don't put them in college, try to get them skills that are going to be able to benefit them in the future. Because right now, the normal laborer, the normal worker, breaking down the rate of inflation and the job wages, they're not going to be able to survive off of the college. They're not going to be able to survive off of just not normal wages. So they're going to need to know a skill, because like right now with the inflation going up and the rate it's going, they're not going to be able to survive when they're older. Like, so if they don't have skills, they're screwed. So start getting them into like certain fields of skills, because you're going to need those. Because right now, all the white collar jobs, a lot of them are getting taken out by people that know how to run AI and people that are running AI. And the blue collar jobs are going to last a little bit longer before machinery and stuff start getting involved. So you should start teaching them that, so they can start learning how to do that. Start looking into entrepreneurship, teaching kids how to do that, how to manage money and stuff, where they're not going to be in this perpetual cycle. Mm-hmm. Like, because dude, that whole college thing is just like, looking at what it used to be and looking at what it is right now, it's a shit show. For
the most part, bro, like my opinion on college, reiterate what you said. Not only they gonna put your kids in debt, unless they're learning something specific and useful. Like man, he got an engineering degree, bro.
It's not even normal debt. Yeah. You can't even go bankrupt on it. It's the kind of normal. It's like the government subsidized it to where it's like, nah. You can't even claim that as bankrupt. That's forever until you pay it off, until you die.
Yeah.
So you like, that's like, don't put your kids in that. Make them really think about that decision before you decide, yeah, I'm putting them into college. Don't just fucking be brainwashed into doing that.
You're running the
literally risk. Sit down with your kids and figure out what they want. And if they don't know what they want, don't put them in college until they know what the fuck they want.
Yeah, and even then, man, like right now, like Juan said, skills is way more important, because you got all the refugees competing for wages and labor and just basic ass jobs type of thing, right? And then you got the AI, like you said. On top of that, you run the risk that they brainwash your child when you put them in these people's hands. They're gonna put that pinche fabuloso They're gonna have an opinion on every goddamn thing, and they're ready to go protest some goddamn where. So I pray that my 15-year-old takes heed to the stuff that I tell her in terms of skill stack, talent stack, trades, like know how to do some stuff, because you're going to have to navigate a space like the way the interest rates are. All of a sudden, if you're under a certain age and all of a sudden you in the game now and you want to buy a house and you trying to save up for your down payment and all that, let me know what kind of interest rate they finna give you. You know what I'm saying? Because
stupid.
I mean, you know, if you're listening this far into the podcast, then you probably already...
Oh, we've been getting on fire, so yeah, they're listening.
I mean, yeah, in other words, you probably already hip to a lot of this, but if you're new and you thought I was a coconut for the past 3 years, I don't know, maybe welcome.
I'm a coconut. I'll tell you that right now.
I'm about to buy a shirt right now that got coconuts on it. Anyway, my point is, shout out to the agents, shout out to the members of the TIA, everybody on the Discord, everybody on the Patreon. Now, if you're new, Maybe you thought I was a coconut sellout. Somebody assigned you an opinion saying Chingo Bling hates immigrants and he was faking it this whole time. And all the while he wanted to build a wall while he was saying something else. It's like, no. It's like things can happen in order. You could believe one thing and then you peep game. Just like you could be pro college and university for a long time. And then you start to realize some stuff about it. And it's like, ooh, risky, bad investment, lot of debt, gotta pay it back. Like it was a pain paying my shit back because technically, I didn't have a regular ass college job. I went to college, got in debt, and then went and did something else that thankfully went well to where I was able to pay their asses back. So speaking of money, we're sending billions to another country. We have a video.
They sent $100 billion of your tax money to Israel. Yep. Your tax money is helping so many people. So you telling me y'all can afford to send 100 billion of them bitches somewhere else? And I can't even afford to fucking live? But your tax money is hard at work for the people. Oh my fucking God, where are my manners, Mr. President? I've been working 60 hours a week every week for my whole fucking life just to blow up a hospital. Good investment. Thank you so much, bitch. I can't even afford to eat a goddamn fucking meal and you talking to me about this super shit. Why is this fucking country so selfish? Bitch, let me tell you something. It costs $3,000 to rent a fucking dugout in this bitch. The price of food going up and wages ain't doing shit. But because shit keep going up, not only is the wages not going up, the shit we can buy with the motherfuckers, the amount of things is going the fuck down. Motherfuckers ain't got health care. If I get hurt, I die. Cause I can't even afford to die. And you got the nerve to call me fucking selfish, you stupid bitch. Like, nah, let me get this shit straight though. So you sending hundreds of times the money it would take to fix the problems in this bitch somewhere else to fund a fucking genocide. But because that don't make me want to wrap an American flag around my chest and shit up my fucking back, I'm the one that's selfish.
All right, I don't know who did this voice. I need the animation person to help me with some stuff. But that video was so on point. It needs to go viral. More people need to listen to that message and realize that's a big frustration to many Americans, whether you're white from the Appalachian Mountains and you like Mountain Dew, or you Mexican in Fort Worth, or you Asian in Bay Area, like
you a coconut in Houston.
You a coconut in Houston. Basically, like people getting fed up with once they start realizing like we're paying taxes on everything. They taxing your money, they tax you here, they tax you there, just to not fix nothing stateside. You have cities in our country where the crime is so bad, everything's locked up at the CVS. It's like a vending machine. You need a key for every damn thing. Mm-hmm. There's looting. There's the cultural decay, cultural rot. Don't nobody want to put America first. Nobody wants to put God first. And it's just a whole bunch of chaos and disorder. And you're getting taxed to death. Interest rate high, inflation, recession. They about to draft some people, in my opinion. Some people finna get drafted. All type of chaos popping off. And they're sending all your money overseas so they can get their kickback. So congratulations.
The scary thing is they're not even hiding this shit no more. It's like to the point where it's like if your eyes are a little halfway open, you're like, this shit don't make sense.
Yeah.
Like what the like this shit don't make sense. What do you mean? We're sending money. Wait.
And then you see the amounts. You see the amounts where it's like how many billions a week we're sending to Ukraine alone, not to mention how we're funding every side of the Israeli-Palestinian war. But like you look at the numbers and then you're like, wait, so they wanted $4 billion for a wall. It seemed like a good investment thinking about it. And it's like, but we didn't have $4 billion. You would raise your hand and say, hey, could we spend $4 billion on the wall? Shut up, you're racist and you don't know anything. And matter of fact, we're gonna put you on a list. And then they turn around and send 100 and gazillion trillions.
Bro, so when I worked at the bank, there was this thing where you had to keep an eye out, like whenever people would call in for like their grandpa or something, and you'd have to like listen and really be like, does this make sense? This kind of sounds like elder abuse. I feel like our country is committing some type of elder abuse where this fool is literally going up on stage, doesn't know who the fuck he is, doesn't know where the fuck he's at.
Biden now.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
And the fact that every time something pops off, bro, this is one of those things where it's like Hawaii just happened. Oh, we're gonna send them a little bit of money, but let's also send $50 billion over there to Ukraine. Israeli. Okay, we got to send them like $100 billion. But then we're also sending $200 billion.
Yeah, most of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, bro, what the fuck? Like, hold up. He just goes up there and more money to Ukraine.
You know what pisses me off, bro? Is how you have. This is a public episode, so I got to watch what I say. But like,
I mean, we don't.
You have certain
this whole thing.
You have certain agencies. No, I could have went deeper.
No, I know we could have. And I'm trying to think right now. I'm like, man, I wonder if this.
Have I said too much?
I don't wonder. We said too much.
That's what I mean. Did I shoot myself?
We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out.
Should there no longer be public episodes of RPT? So, damn, what the hell was I gonna say?
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. What were we talking about?
Elder abuse.
Yeah.
Sending money, the thing that pisses you off.
Oh, this is what pisses me off. All right. The way the media works and where they get their talking points from, right? The way, because once you look at the media as like a big old psyop, a big old brainwashing operation, when you start to see it as propaganda designed to, shape public opinion so these bandits could keep getting away with highway robbery, right? Mm-hmm. So basically, what ticks me off is when people are getting their info twisted, where basically they'll be like, Juan, what you don't understand is that Putin is bad, okay? We have to back Ukraine because Zelensky, he's a good guy, or they'll just be like, it actually helps Americans. The minute you say, why are we sending all the money over there? Well, it helps Americans because Ukraine is the breadbasket of the world and they produce a lot of food. And just like they'll give you excuses and reasons to keep being America last. Like there's people that I know in the entertainment industry, well, they'll hop in comments and say a whole bunch of stuff. And I just get really disappointed because they need to listen to RPT.
Let me say this because this is one of the major arguments that I'm going to say left because it's mostly a leftist thing. Where a lot of them are in the know, like, oh no, well, if you look at why we're sending money, if you would read a book to send money to Ukraine, the thing is, the reason why we're sending it to them is because that's like an investment. Because what's going to happen is we're sending it to them, and then that money's going to come back to us because they're going to pay us back over time.
Which isn't even part of the deal. Like when we send them money, there's no timeline, there's no end, there's no budget. They don't tell you where it's going.
I'm telling you this because Chris Christie's out there saying it on the fucking public stage of why if y'all are actually listening to the Republican debates and stuff like that, just dude, if y'all are trying to go for all these little other motherfuckers, they are all trying to we see why we're having the war, and the only one saying no is Trump and Vivek. They're both like, nah, we backing out. Like we don't need to be there. Everybody else is like, well, there's certain things. It's like, fuck you guys. I'm sorry, I got off on a tangent. But my whole thing was they're trying to say that we're gonna pay this back and blah 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 blah. They're gonna pay us back. No, they're not. No, they're not. And not only that,
they're not required to.
They're not required.
We didn't ask them to.
And not only that, our grandpa didn't ask him to. Okay, the senile motherfucker didn't ask him. All right. So the other thing is that, dude, the fact that they're telling you that while we're going into inflation status, while wages are down, while all this other, we can't keep up. Like they're tiring us out. Like just look at the state of the country. They're tiring us out. They're overwhelming us with more people coming into the country. They're taking up most of our resources.
They want to take your guns,
and now they're trying to. They want to take that. They want to take the things that you could defend yourself with. On top of that, the sanctuary cities are getting overthrown to where it's like, oh my god, well, we can't house all these people.
Yeah, we got to spend more tax dollars to put them up in hotels.
And now they're trying to they're trying to pass bills so that they can actually start. What do you call it? They're starting all the buildings that are
commercial buildings, commercial real estate that's empty,
residential. Now they can
Yeah, in your downtown, bro. Your downtown about to have little Caracas popping off on the back of a scooter, with another dude in the back pulling up on you like this.
That's what's fitting to happen. And if you're paying attention, if you guys haven't had this happen, just look at Philadelphia, look at all these different places, New York, all these. Who else? California, a few places in California. people are getting robbed at their houses. People are just getting run
Front
up on.
porch.
Front porch. Don't give a fuck. You and your family out, they're going to rob you. So you got to be careful because it's starting to get to a point where it's like,
brazen crime.
Smash
and grabs.
You don't see that happening too much in Texas or Florida because
they got it.
Not too much because that's why
Shit,
you got to
Houston,
have
bro.
something. Yeah, but most of them are armed. Most of them have weapons. Other states that don't have weapons, that shit's happening on a regular.
Well, it's some cities, bro. What it is some big Democratic cities that people start to peep game and know that they're soft on crime, ain't enough police. You could do pretty much whatever the fuck you want. It's the Wild Wild West. Yeah. You know, they ain't even got time to process you. It's like, man, just keep it moving. If the cop don't let you go because he don't want to do the paperwork, then the DA gonna let you go. Either way, you finna be fresh out, ready to act a fool. So congratulations. Y'all didn't like mean tweets, and y'all fell for the okie doke. And, people just like to call people names, and motherfuckers believe it. So, hey, welcome to RPT. So this next video we about to watch, this gentleman
is the anti-woman type of speech. So this is a lady that comes up to a guy. They're like in a little heated debate here, and this woman hits him with the line that most women are hitting with men right now, which is like, you're a misogynist, and this is what happened.
You're against abortion and why you're against transgenderism is because you're a misogynist, okay?
First of all, I'm not a misogynist because a misogynist is someone that puts down women. I exalt women to their rightful role. Women are supposed to be women, not men. And every time somebody says that a woman is equal to a man and does what a man could do, and you're actually abusing and denigrating women. Women have a unique purpose and they're special. They're fearfully and wonderfully made by God. I support women, so I'm not a misogynist. I don't put down. You're putting down women by saying women can be men. You're putting down women by saying transgenders can be women. No, they can never be women. Women are special, and no man can just convert and say I'm a woman today. You're putting down women by saying that. So you're actually anti-women. I'm pro-woman.
So what'd you think?
Well, he told her ass off pretty damn good. It sucks when people resort to just labels and titles and just be like, you're this, you're that. And he defended himself very well and turned it around on her ass. Actually, you're the one that's anti-woman because I'm trying to defend y'all.
So this is what I'm saying. And this is and again, this is what I said earlier. When this whole movement for like this different genders and this women equality and stuff like that, which it came so fast and so crazy where it was like, well, it's women's rights. Oh no, it's also transgender right, and then it's all this, and then this, and then we were so confused.
Yeah.
That now you have people that have had to literally sit here and think on this shit where it's like, okay, what's my position? Where do I stand? And now you're getting guys like this. That's why Andrew Tate was getting so big. That's why all these other people were getting so big because they had already sat and thought about, okay, counterpoints, boom, 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 boom. Then you have a guy like this coming out and is like, he's very well spoken because now he has his footing. And I think what that whole movement has done is basically it's kind of like narrowed more men to actually be like, okay, well, we can't just go with the flow anymore. Now we need to start
somebody's got to say something.
Putting our fucking foot down because if we don't, it's gonna keep bleeding into our kids now. Because now it went with the women. They attack the women. It's like what you do in any kind of invasion. I think is you go after the women and then you go after the children.
Especially with
and it's going for our children now.
Yes, exactly, and I agree. I think especially with like nefarious groups that have the resources to move funding and control the media and make these people female athlete of the year. You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna honor all of a sudden like. It's hella biological males winning female beauty pageants, getting the makeup contracts and deals. You know what I mean? They just like almost like muddying the waters for the division, and all while weaponizing women's empathy against them to be like, don't you want to be nice and inclusive? Don't you want to be like full of love and acceptance? And don't you want to not judge people who were born a certain way? And wouldn't you rather have a daughter instead of a dead son and vice versa, like how they try to bully them and the women fall for it. Then you get the cuck ass dads, the beta gamma males that are like, well, there's new science. So what I want to say is this. specifically to the Latino men, right? Tag one of them, because I want to talk to them right now. I want to talk to them right now. And my point is this. Right now, you could be neutral on this whole type of subject matter. You could probably be like, ¿Sabes qué, carnal? I don't really like politics, bro. It's like, it's all confusing. And, it's like, this ain't even really political per se. It's a little bit more like culture war. But, like, if you were to challenge them and be like, hey, I challenge you to pay attention and have a stance. You don't got to be public about it, but arm yourself with information, because if you have your kids out there in the world on an iPad, watching TV, looking at the magazine on the grocery counter, in the public school, like the culture is they're fighting for your child. Where do you stand on the issue? Are you paying attention? And that's my challenge.
And let me say this, and this gentleman made a very good point, and I sat and thought about this, like literally. Women and men are not equal. We're not. We're different.
Hot take.
We're fucking different. We're different. When we talk about equality, okay, that means that you want equal rights, meaning that you don't want to be beholden to, I need to be like I can't have certain alienable rights and not. You know what I mean? Like your freedom to be, your right to be free. In a free country, right? That's the whole thing. Equal rights in that way. Yeah, okay, cool. That's what we're talking about. But when we're talking about like we're equal, like in strength and or this and this, it's like no, we're different. We can be different. That's fine. We can be different. That's what we are different. And if y'all have to acknowledge that we're different, so that you can actually find the actual benefits of that difference, like. You don't like, okay, you have masculine women, okay, fine. But there's still the feminine traits you have that men don't have. There's certain things y'all do better than men do. There's certain things that men do better than women do. So it's like, we have to stop with this whole like, we're equal and we can be just as strong as you. Okay, some women are stronger than some men. And some men are stronger than, majority of men are stronger than women. And some of them are more feminine than some of the feminine women. But we have to find what we're good at and then figure out how we coincide together. Not, we're going to outdo the other one. Instead of being combative, we need to figure out how we can come together, basically. And so this whole, we can
almost like ladies, embrace your femininity.
Well, it's just this whole thing about like equality and stuff like that has made us so divided.
It's like gender Marxism. Right? It's by saying, hey, women, aren't you tired of being oppressed? And it's like, I didn't know I was oppressed, but you're a housewife. And it's like, which is a hard job.
Because by doing that, you're literally forcing the women that just want to be women. And it's okay to just be themselves. Like, you're forcing them to jump on board or they're not feminine enough. And it's like this whole aspect of we want to be just as good as the men. It's like, dude, who cares? Like, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, it's like the majority of... I'm just going to say this. This is going to be fucked up. I don't care. The majority of men are going to be stronger than the women, okay? And it's just what it is. Physically, we outdo you guys because of our bone density, all that other shit. So the fact that you're talking about, like, we have the stance to where we can be, like... We should go by legislation and all this other stuff. It's like, okay, but what happens when you get men that don't want to follow suit? What happens when you get like certain people that don't want to follow suit? You're still trying to base your stance on basically on a case where men still kind of rule. Like in the sense that if men wanted to be just fucked up and wanted to take over, they could take over women, like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because we do have the strength, like, naturally. So I'm just saying we're living in a society because men are allowing it to happen. I mean, if we're really black and white, you know, no order, no law or anything like that. If men wanted something from a different type of one, they could probably take it. And so you have men that won't let that happen. But like, we have a whole system based on if you take away all the weapons.
Juan's saying we could turn this into the Arab countries where you won't be able to drive or show your face or your ankles.
Yeah, so
that's how Juan
basically is what I'm saying.
We can make it like that if we want.
It's not threats. It's just
we
facts.
letting y'all.
It's just fact. It's like, okay, but if you look at just like statistics of like men's sports and women's sports, you could tell the men are dominant at these physical activities, the majority of them, by a long shot. So if they wanted to be physically dominating, they could be, but we're not. We're literally trying to coincide. So when you try to do this whole division
we
thing,
made y'all a whole league.
when you're trying to do this whole division thing,
Y'all got a league because we let y'all.
don't let us release Joanna Man on your ass, all right? That's what I'm trying to say.
That's what's happening. Like swimmers, cycling, track and field, anywhere they let a lackluster, mediocre dude compete against the chicks.
Anybody
all of a
that
sudden,
can wear a wig, all of a sudden they win.
all of a sudden they got a gold medal.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like, keep that in mind and be like, we need to find common ground to where it's like, oh yeah, this could be this could be totally different if we really wanted it to be. It don't, you know what I mean? But like, we have these laws in place, and don't let this divide like keep fucking up everything. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly, because sometimes you have nefarious groups that take advantage. Like, who could benefit from this whole confusion and debate? Obviously, if you have like a sick group of people who should not be normalized in society at all, but they trying to squeeze their letter in with these other folks, you know what I'm saying? It's like LGB with the Q plus, with the plus symbol, with the this, and it's like, well, what does that letter mean? Oh, don't worry about that. It's 87 genders, and this is my gender. It's like, you're into what? You know what I'm saying? Not to mention, like, when governments, like, you were on a roll, you were saying, when somebody could do this, when these people could do that. And then I was, in my head, it was like, when a government can literally hide behind this group of people who are like oppressed and victimized and be like, Juan, you're going to go to jail because you misgendered this young lady. And it's like, that's a fucking dude. It's like, you're 6 more months. You know what I mean? You're going to solitary confinement like Canada. And there's certain countries where your free speech ain't as free no more just because they're using these people as an excuse. Or what else? People going to jail and shit like that.
It's just one of those things that a lot of us are so divided on male versus female bullshit that we're missing everything else that's happening. The border crisis, the wars over there, the stuff that's happening in Hawaii. When's the last time you heard about Hawaii?
What about East Palestine, Ohio?
That's what I'm saying. Any of the train derailments
Flint.
at the beginning of the year.
Does Flint have water yet?
There was like 13 to 16 trail derailments within a 2-month gap. That wasn't accidental.
That was infrastructure terrorism.
So I'm just saying, you're being distracted by male and female gender stuff. Dude, I was in freaking elementary and I knew the difference. And yet we're so confused,
and he wore Ninja Turtle shoes
with the Velcro,
Posturepedic.
But that's what I'm saying. We're so diluted in our fucking heads that we're missing everything else. So like, if we can't get it together on just basic genders, it's like, dude, we're going to hell. Like, we're all getting fucked up right now. Like, this is gonna derail very soon.
Hey, I was reading these children's Bible stories to Penny last night. And we read 2. We read one that was about Adam and Eve getting kicked out of the Garden of Eden because they disobeyed God, basically, right? Yeah. You know, because it's heavy subjects. Like, well, what is sin? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, wait, so they didn't have clothes in the Garden of Eden? It's like, well, you know how animals walk around? It's like they didn't know anything. There was a perfect little garden and things like that. You're trying to explain these things. And then we read the one about Noah's Ark. And I forget how I got on this subject. Damn, what the hell? Marijuana, sometimes you can overdo it.
Yeah, I was talking about like the division of like male and female genders, and then you like just basic. Even when I was in elementary.
Okay. And the Ninja Turtle shoes.
Yeah, Ninja Turtle with Velcro.
Well, yeah, I forget how the segue was gonna be, but in essence, I was going over these stories, and this is what it was. When you were on the roll, basically making it sound like we're going to hell. Basically, it's getting to the point where Jesus is gonna have to pull up, like God gonna have to pull up and be like, "Hey, man." So this is where it was. We're reading the story. It was about God saying, "This rainbow is the promise. I'm not gonna flood y'all again," right? Because He had to flood it out because it was way too much sin. Everybody got away from God, and everybody was out there acting a fool. So he said, I'm finna flood y'all. And that's what it feels like.
I meant this country's going to hell. Like the way it's all like
Metaphorical hell. I meant
yeah,
literal.
He's mean literal. I meant metaphorically, like the
I'm
thing.
saying God finna be
mad.
mad.
I mean both now, if I'm being honest. But like
we finna see the Old Testament God.
For that specific context, I meant literal. But now that we're thinking about it, yeah, it's both of them.
Yeah, metaphorical. Yeah. No, but I mean, can you imagine just God looking down at the spiritual warfare, and once you kind of look at it through that lens of like, because it sounds crazy. It's like, come on, Juan, you're saying that they're coming for our kids, bro. You're saying that you're telling me, Juan Perez, you're telling me that the debate between genders is some nefarious ploy to divide and distract and just create chaos between families and couples and genders. Can it be more so that people were born in the wrong body and you might go through the wrong puberty, and we need to affirm with this type of health care?
And this is the problem with you tolerant people that are saying that bullshit. It's all fun and games until it's your fucking kid. Yeah. Then we talk about
now
it.
Now you got to affirm
then
with your
we
health
talk
care.
About it. Because it's all the tolerant people that are allowing this to happen, because I know there's a lot more people that don't believe this shit that just won't speak up. And so because we have that, it's all fun and games until it's your kid or it happens to you. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute.
All because they went down the wrong TikTok rabbit hole.
Chingo, you were right, bro. I'm so sorry. We get this little message.
Coconut.
We get these stupid messages. I'm so sorry.
It is a spiritual war.
Oh, man, I can't believe I missed it. It's like, oh, what happened? Well, my kid
it's
or
like,
my spouse or
hey, no, they're going to be like this. So what happened, bro? He's going to say, I was following Foods Gone Wild too much. And they weren't teaching me what the culture war was. And I wasn't paying attention. I was distracted by seeing these crackheads on Instagram. Meanwhile, your kid is going down the wrong TikTok rabbit hole.
Not realizing that they're telling you all that stuff because they're just making a buck on...
Hey.
They're making a buck on what do you call it? On monetizing on monetization.
Hey.
So clickbait and stuff like that, and having a hot take and stuff like that makes you the money, guys.
Hey.
And they just doing it on y'all's watch.
We're gonna get emails and letters from people saying, come to find out, the nice purple-haired teacher at my kid's public school didn't have arithmetic on her mind.
Well, first of all, you're gonna get the emails. I'm not big enough, so I'm good.
You're not big enough for what?
I said I'm not big enough
to get emails.
Bro. They don't know me. They don't know my social media.
You're busy,
so
man.
I'm good, brother.
You busy running shit.
I'm gonna get the emails through your shit, but I never read them. So
speaking of feedback, I want to give you props on there because Juan's doing a great job of managing the social media and making sure that we always got fresh content for y'all, dropping multiple times a day. I'm sure y'all have noticed. So I'm in Wichita DJing, and a lot of different people had feedback because it's one of those markets I just haven't really gone to in a long time. Yeah. Like we did a comedy show there 3-4, I don't know how many years ago. But anyway, one of the people was like, hey, bro, you don't choose the Sancho life. The Sancho life chooses you. He's like, once a Sancho, always a Sancho. And he's like, Chile drop-offs, chorizo distribution. And I was just like, oh, okay, that's what you like. Okay, I see what you big into. You know what I mean?
When we were in San Antonio, that happened. So when I bring Chingo on stage and I'm like, he goes by many names, and I started listing the names. It was like the Tamale Kingpin, the Versace Mariachi, and then I saw multiple women just in the crowd, just all of a sudden, he goes by Sancho. And I was like, hold up, bitch. I was like, wait a minute. That's not one of them.
Why was it the women saying, Tio Juventino?
Yeah, that's where it was nuts. It's because it's Sancho, mullet. Bro. They like the Sancho. They about that life.
They like the idea.
He's a man. That's what it is.
He's selling, Tio Juve is smart enough to sell people the idea of a Sancho. It's almost like he's like, I will employ this Sancho life to how when a chick joins OnlyFans or she becomes an escort or something very something very frowned upon, it's like, but she do got 6 houses, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like, she's smart with it. She a smart stripper, it's like the who is like, somebody got to be a Sancho, bro.
He's the Sancho living in Chingo Bling's basement.
Imagination?
Basement in the basement of his
the bus
Chingo
driver.
and his wife's house.
Yeah, he's a bus driver.
That's basically what it it is. Living on the couch. So it's all fun and game.
It's all great. So yeah, man, Corpus Christi coming up. Pull up on your boy. It's gonna be real fun. We got some fresh merch that we didn't have last time in February. So y'all don't want to miss it, man. November 3rd and the 4th. What else we got?
Pull up. That's it. That's
it.
That's the public episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're new to this, follow Chingo on all the social medias: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
And join the Chingo verse. Go to patreon.com/Red Pill Tamales, and you can get them bonus episodes and everything else.
Okay, this was a fire episode, so we're gonna leave it at that.